guys, how's it going? It's Dmitry here. Guys, in this particular tutorial I'm going to discuss about really interesting topic. I'm going to host my basic React.js application on S3 bucket. Or if you guys not familiar, AWS, it's one of the cloud providers, Amazon cloud provider. It has many different services, and one of the services is called S3, and they have concept of the buckets. Each and every bucket represent a storage, and in this regard, each storage, in your own storage, if you create a storage, you can store your application related files or static files that later on clients or browsers going to access outside of this bucket from the rest of the world, and they're going to read all these files, and basically that's how they will be able to access your product or your project. And it's really interesting concept, guys, and let's jump into that. First of all, guys, you can see the actual project here, and the project itself, it's as I said, it's React.js project, and it's located on GitHub, in my GitHub account. So, and I just would like to run it first in order to show you what kind of the current state of this project. Let's see what's going on. And it was created with React Create library, and you can see it's nothing special at the moment. You have this drop down list, you have this navigation bar, and it's clickable, but at the moment you cannot see any changes because it's a fully functional application. It has backend as well and database, but at the moment my focus is going to be on front end in this particular tutorial, because I would like to host the front end. I would like to push it to S3 bucket and access outside of from the world, from outside of this bucket. I would like to access it from my browser, and to see if I'm able, to access all this beautiful UI functionality. So let's jump into this, guys, and yeah, I think it's going to be really exciting tutorial. I'm going to show you today how to push your basic application. In my case, it's going to be React.js application, and it's nothing special about this app. In previous tutorials, I show you how I build it till this current stage. So yeah, I'm going to push it, and then also, like in real life, guys, if you work as a team, or if you work on, if you really work on the project and this project is becoming bigger, or if you would like to automate the same repetitive processes, so in this case it makes sense to create so-called CI/CD pipeline. And this, in this tutorial, guys, I will show you how to do that as well. So and I'm going to utilize the tool. It's called CircleCI. So basically, just imagine when we make any changes in the code and we push it to our repository, and my repository for this project that I'm going to show you, it's in GitHub. So every time it's going to trigger rebuild of this project. So the idea is it's going to rebuild all the static files, and all these rebuild files I will show you guys, they are going to sit here in build, and this is the files that the actual browser going to use, right, in order to show you this, the actual final UIs and final product, because browser understand JavaScript, right? But in order to make it as efficient as possible for for the browser to read it. So we need to build so-called bundles. I'm not sure, guys, if some of you familiar with this concept, but anyway, idea is we have to optimize our written code, like the original code. You can see it's sitting here, and it's like, you know, I create a so-called components, you know, because in React.js we call them components. So but we're doing that as human beings because it's easier for us to read all these files, you know, easier to us when we structure everything in our project. But for browser to read it, we can just bundle it all together, all our structured code, and as a result, we're going to come up with this kind of static bundles where our code is sitting like that, and it's like, for us, basically for human beings, it looks like it's a gibberish, but reality is this code is optimized and it's easy to read. Like, it's not a big deal to read it for browser. So, and that's what, guys, we're going to do when we're going to push any changes, right? CircleCI going to rebuild all these bundles, and basically that's how it is, and it's going to store all these bundles on our S3 bucket. So that's how it is. Okay, guys, let's jump into that. So first of all, this is my project, right, guys? And so it's sitting here. So I'm going to put the link to this repository. It's library React project. It's open project, and so it's open repository. You can go and just pull it. So yeah, feel free. And yeah, then I'm guys going to show you. I also already have CircleCI, and CircleCI in my case it's basically CircleCI. You can connect CircleCI and your GitHub account. And why are we doing that? Basically, as I said, when you push any changes to your repository on GitHub, then it's going to trigger rebuild of your project. So yeah, which is, you just over and over again, you just understand that, okay, so it's just, you know, makes sense to do that, because in this case your project, you know, is going to be rebuilt, and you understand that, okay, it's working and you still can rebuild it and it should function, right? So, and it's in this case it's automated, and you always can be sure that all your changes, they're going to reflect the final result. Okay, cool, guys, let's jump into the coding. Let's move back to VS Code. So guys, and what I'm going to do first, it's a good question. I think first I'm going to, so we have this project, right? Then I would like to create or set this project in CircleCI. So, and first, guys, in your case, you have to authorize it, right? You have to create your CircleCI account. You can use Google if you have Google account, and it's easier to sign up with your Google account. But anyway, the idea is use your GitHub to authorize CircleCI account. You know, that's how it works. So anyway, in my case, it's already authorized. So here I'm going to click on setup because this is my actual directory. See, guys, because it's working like CircleCI, my CircleCI account, it's kind of connected with my or it can see everything what's going on my GitHub account. It can see all my projects, right? So, and this is the actual project I'm going to work with. So I'm going to set it up. So if you already so it's asking you if I have. So technically, I think previously I had this configuration. Basically, guys, in this case, we need to write the configuration config file, so config YAML, and the idea is you have to have like this CircleCI tool. We need to come up with a configuration for the CircleCI. It's like a list that's going to tell CircleCI what it has to do. And in this case, what we're going to tell to CircleCI, okay, please rebuild our application, and please push our final rebuild application, or in this case, this build project or big build directory that I showed you. Please push all these files to our S3 bucket. And guys, okay, let's do it. And I'm going to allow CircleCI create this configuration. Let's see, it should come up with the configuration. And because I previously pushed all these changes, it should come up with the configuration. Let's see what kind of configuration we're talking about. Configuration file. Okay, let's see what's going on here. So guys, idea, basically it's really small configuration file because nothing special about that, but the idea is here you can see CircleCI, that's where we specify CircleCI is going to be CircleCI, not it's like a version of CircleCI from my understanding. And then of course, because we're going to work with AWS and specifically with AWS S3 bucket, as I told you, or S3 service. In this case, we have to specify this line as well, and then this is the actual step-by-step process what we're going to achieve. So in this case, we're saying, okay, we need to run tests, and version of the node going to be 15.1, and then after that, run the actual build. This is the command that used to be in order to build our project. And then when the build is done, and as I told you, all these build files, they're going to sit here in build directory. And again, if you go in back to our project, this is the actual build directory, right? All these files, all these static files, if we go in back, all these files in build directory, they're going to be copied to the bucket, and the bucket it's not created yet. So, and first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create this bucket. Guys, in my case, I already opened this management console in AWS. If you don't have your account in AWS, or if you're not familiar with AWS at all, you can go to s3.console.aws.amazon.com, and you can create a free account. They call it free tier account, and it's free of charge. I believe it legit up to 12 months or up to a year. So yeah, just be careful with this account, guys, because it has some limitations, and if you go in to abuse, like go outside of this the scope of this account allowance, Amazon going to charge you money. So just be careful with that. Otherwise, just go and create your accounts. And one of the things, guys, you need, if you go to go to this console, if you sign in to the console, then you type IAM, which is it's kind of, we need this bit that I'm going to show you guys for in order to access like in our case S3 service. For example, CircleCI going to push all the changes to S3 bucket, and in this case basically CircleCI ask Amazon to access its service, and basically it has to be authorized or authenticated, sorry. In order to be authenticated, we need to give to CircleCI so-called credentials, and I will show you guys what I mean by that. So security credentials, and here in here basically Amazon, they have this so-called concept of keys. It's like a key pair with access key ID, and then second one, I believe they call it just access ID or something. But the idea is you have, like, when you create this create access key, and you can create new ones, and then basically, by the way, creating new ones, right? So to be honest with you, I don't really need them, so let's remove them. Or just deactivate, I guess. So anyway, when you create new access key, you have to download the file with this key pair, and then you can give it to CircleCI in our case, and CircleCI going to use it in order to access, in our case, this S3 bucket or S3 service. And in order to do that, guys, I'm going to show you how you should where you should specify this. It's called environment variables. And here, guys, you can see 3 things you have to specify: AWS access key ID, and then AWS secret access key. That's how they call them in AWS. And both of these keys you will be able to find this file that you go into upload. Oh, sorry, when you're going to download when you after creating these keys, and then also AWS region, and I will show what does it mean, this region. In my case, guys, I am working with region. So you can select here which region you're working with. For example, S3. So for example, I live in Sydney, so I can select this one, right? This zone, how they call it specifically, they call it specifically region. I'm not sure where you live in, guys, but that's how you select it, right? Depends on where you are. And also, to be honest, to be fair, they say here, I didn't see it. S3 doesn't require region selection, so basically you don't need to specify this region. But anyway, looks like you don't need necessarily specifying region here, but I just specified just in case, you know. But yeah, you can try just specifying Amazon credentials, and pretty much it. Cool, guys. Let's move on. So here first, I believe, let's go back to here, sorry, to pipeline. Let's go back to our project, and in our project, the file that I showed you previously, what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to just commit. I think actually it's already it's been committed. So this file, it should already see it. It should already sit in my repository. Let's check, guys, if it's the case. It's interesting. Yep, looks like that. So this is my master branch, and that's why I'm working from. And you can see CircleCI and config YAML. So it was added. So basically, guys, what you can do it the way I did it. You can just ask CircleCI create this configuration, or otherwise you can go and create this configuration from your project from here. But in my case now, because I still cannot see it in my local branch, what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going just to pull the changes from my repository. Git pull. Yeah, and I should be able to see, yep, here we go, CircleCI config. So this is the final configuration. And again, this configuration, it came from the CircleCI itself. It was created automatically by CircleCI. Cool. So now what we can do, guys, we can okay, let's first go and to S3 bucket and create a new bucket, right? And I'm going to call it as per our project. I'm going to call it library React app. So I'm just going to paste, copy and paste. By the way, looks like AWS, they saying specifically we don't need to specify any region, but at the same time you can see here region, they still specifying it. But anyway, looks like, yeah, it's better to specify it here, like you have to specify it here. Copy setting from existing bucket. No, I think it's asking me this about this option because previously I created bucket with the same name. Okay, and another thing, guys, this bucket is going to be publicly available because we need to call it, like, technically, later on anybody should be able to access this bucket. So, and that's why I'm going to make it public. Server side encryption, disable. For now, I guess it should be all right. Okay, create bucket. I acknowledge that the current settings might result in the bucket and the object wouldn't become public. Yes. Okay, let's see. Let's see what's going on here. Let's go to permissions, like, because we have to be sure that it's really public, right? This is publicly available. Oh, guys, sorry. Here we need also specify static website hosting because that's what we're going to do, guys. And yeah, let's specify index.html. Let's save it. And here, guys, at the end, this is the actual endpoint that we're going to use in order to access our final application that's going to sit or going to be hosted on S3 bucket. Okay, so let's move on. Now, what we have to do, we need to push our project, or we need to push any change. But let's do it this way. I'm just going to make small change. For example, I can specify something here. Just literally space, and in this case I believe it's going to be a discrepancy between master, and you can see already if you type git status, here we go, the change is in readme, and if you commit it to our, or push to our remote branch, master branch, and I'm just going to say trigger. Here we go. So now I push in all the this small change to my remote branch, and it should trigger our CircleCI. It should trigger CircleCI. Here we go. You can see it's running, right? So it was triggered. The build process was triggered, and now it's building. So it's checking package, right? Restoring cache, because previously it was running some of these processes before. As I told you guys, I had this project before, I tested it previously, and it's still installing npm packages, and now it's running the build. This is the build process, and actually it's run the tests, and here it's installing AWS CLI as per our configuration file. And then at the end, what it did after building and after installing all these AWS packages, it's copied this build files to our S3 bucket. So guys, if we go to our bucket here, I believe we should be able to see all this. Okay, let's refresh it, because at the moment I still cannot see any files. Here we go, guys. So if I move here, so you can see all these files that were created in build directory here. All these files, right? Public source. Sorry, all these files, static. Let's make it bigger. All these files should sit in our bucket, S3 bucket now. So if you go to static JS, all these files are here, guys, all these bundles, which is pretty cool. So, and technically, guys, fingers crossed, if we use this website endpoint at the moment, we should be able to access our project. So, but we are not able at the moment. Yeah, it's forbidden. Let's check why it's happening, guys. Let's check why it's happening. I'm curious myself, to be honest. Static endpoint. Okay, so we need to make it public, I believe. It's still not public. I'm talking about S3 bucket. The bucket is not public, but anyone with appropriate... Okay, we need to make it public, guys. Now I need to figure it out how to make it public. Pretty sure it's in permissions anyway. No, it's not. Bucket policy. Everyone public. I think it's over here, guys. Edit access control list. And you can make it everyone public access. Everyone can read it. I understand the effects. And my understanding somewhere here, we need to save it. Let's save it. Publicly accessible. And guys, let's try it once again. It's strange, I still cannot access it. It's a bit annoying, to be honest. Okay, I will try once again. And my bucket, which is library react app. Library react app. I'm going to save it. Fingers crossed, guys. Once again, let's grab this link. Here we go, guys. So it was all about this policy as well. So at the moment, guys, you can see I already can run the actual application, but the problem is part of the application is not like we cannot able access any valuable data. Otherwise, it would show some media files here in the place where it's empty at the moment. But because the actual application it's fully functional, like it has a back end as well as front end. But at the moment, you can see, guys, I'm just running front end on S3 bucket, right? I'm accessing it. I'm calling S3 bucket, and I can see the actual front end. So basically, I need to host backend as well as run database for this project in order to able seeing all these media files that should appear here where it's blanket at the moment in this spot. And guys, I'm going to do it in couple of next tutorials because the process itself is quite tedious as well. Hopefully guys you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you very much, guys, and if you guys please like it, and I will see you guys in the next tutorial. Bye.